Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Today Show New York by the Disability Channel. I am so happy to be your host, Rachel Handler, and thank you for joining us today here in New York City on this surprisingly sunny, breezy day. No snow, finally. Here in New York, we've been getting a lot of cold weather. I'm sure that's not much different from our neighbors up north in Canada, where the Disability Channel was founded. But here in New York, it's a little tricky because we all walk everywhere or take public transit. Most of us don't have cars. So in the winter time, it can be especially hard for people with disabilities to get anywhere. I myself have been utilizing Ubers and taxis a lot this season. But we're New Yorkers, we're strong, we're resilient, we make it through. So I'm so glad you're joining us today. We've got such an exciting show. Soon I will be joined by Josh Basil, and he's going to talk with us about a lot. He is an amazing man who has founded some different companies. Right now he's working with accessibility, which is our greatest sponsor. So thank you, accessibility, for sponsoring today's episode of the Today Show New York. So we're really excited to speak with him. On upcoming episodes, we'll be chatting with some New York-based actors, fashion designers, and journalists. So stick around. It's all going to be very exciting. And today is only our second episode, so thank you for being here at the start of it all. I'm Rachel Handler, as I mentioned, and I am an actor and a singer and a filmmaker based here in New York City. And actually this month I've been flying back and forth to New Orleans to film a TV show, which I'm very excited about. For this TV show, they actually built me a custom prosthetic leg. So it's a leg that you've never seen before. It's very cool. So I'm really thrilled that we're taking big steps in the matters of inclusion within the entertainment industry. And today's guest will speak more on inclusion within other industries and accessibility within other industries as well. So I'm done chatting. I think it's time to meet Josh and talk about all of his life's journeys and get to know him and his work with accessibility. So let's speak to Josh.
Hey Rachel, it's so great to be here today, and I'm excited to dive deeper with you and explore all these fun topics. So,
Thank you, Josh. Yeah.
So a little bit about me. Kind of growing up, I was an active child, teenager, just loved playing sports, and was just everywhere and anywhere I could possibly be. And then when I was 18 years old, my life kind of was flipped upside down. I was on a family vacation at the beach, and a wave picked me up, threw me over my boogie board, and slammed me on my head. And that day, I shattered my neck and became paralyzed below my shoulders. During the early days, during the first 5 weeks, I was on a ventilator to keep me alive because I couldn't breathe on my own. And I wasn't able to speak because the ventilator was in my neck. So all I could do to so I did regain to make sure that every word from that moment on counted. And that's when I became an advocate for life that day. And since then, I've been moving forward, wheeling forward, doing everything I can in my power wheelchair to break down barriers and make sure that my communication, my voice, my ability to change the world, that I could do that. And first, it involved going back to school. Went to community college, then went to undergrad, and then graduated magna cum laude from law school without ever flipping a page with my fingers. Technology is pretty cool. And what it can do for But when you have the right supports with technology in place, it really does break down barriers for people with disabilities. And we can talk about that today with what Accessibility is providing with trying to utilize technology to transform and scale to make the internet more accessible, which I'm loving being a part of that mission proactively. Um, and so that's a little bit about me. I can definitely
Yeah.
we could definitely talk more. So where
I
do
love it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what haven't you done? Incredible. Thank you for sharing your story. I mean, what a journey. I'm curious, was there a specific experience or a moment where you knew you wanted to go back to school to become a lawyer? Yeah.
there's a guy, Tim Strachan, who was one of my first mentors, and he was injured 10 years earlier than me at the same beach. And it was local. He lived in the same county as me, and he was an all-American football player. He had a full ride to go play at Penn State and broke his neck. And basically, he went back to community college, then went to undergrad, then went to law school, and then ended up getting married and having kids. And literally, just he showed me that I could follow in his wheel tracks and that it was possible. So it gave me
Mm.
the confidence to be able to do just that. And I'm very excited to share with the world that I've went back to school, I fell in love, and next month I'm gonna have a baby boy. So I'm
Congratulations.
really
Oh my gosh.
so
Wow.
thank you, Tim, for showing me the way. And but mentoring was such a huge part. And that was really also helped me to find my voice as an advocate. Being able to connect with somebody like Tim early on got me away from a lot of times that physical paralysis um, transforming your life ends up becoming a mental paralysis through like depression and other things that really hold you back from seeing or being able to realize that life still can go on in beautiful and brilliant ways. So after my injury, because of mentors, I learned quickly that before my injury I did things 1 million ways. Now after my injury I get to do it 1 million new ways, 1 million different ways. And it can still be fun, it can still be meaningful, and it can still provide so much purpose and life and energy to your everyday. So, in order to really tackle that, I ended up deciding to start a nonprofit called Determined to Heal. And with Determined to Heal, we ended up creating a video mentoring platform called spinalpedia.com. And what we do with Spinalpedia is we collect videos on the internet and content on the internet and break it down by physical functionality. Because every single level of a spinal cord injury branches out to a different world of physical functionality. If I was one level above, I'd be on a ventilator. One level below, I'd start to have more movement in my arms. One level below that, a finger, and then the next finger and the next finger. It's incredible as the spinal cord branches down into different,
Mhm.
really physical opportunities of independence. So what we ended up doing is collecting that content, and now on Spinalpedia, since 2007, we now have over 21,000 videos broken down by physical functionality. So someone can put their exact movement in and have 500 to 1,000 mentors within that unique world to show them what's possible. And there's no point to reinvent the wheel. If somebody else has done it, they can give you an idea of how you can do it as well.
Wow, that is incredible. Oh my gosh. And I think that's something, you know, a lot of people think of disability as such a bad thing, as something to fear. And after my accident, too, it was like the physicality wasn't actually the hardest part. It was the mental journey of this is my new body, this is my new life. The disability affects every aspect of my life. And I think we all go through periods of grief for our old lives, but the journey is incredible. And living with a disability has made me a better person, I think, a more empathetic person. I've learned to adapt in so many ways. And having a mentor, like what you just said, it really is a game changer, for anyone with or without a disability, but especially with a disability, since we're so underrepresented in so many areas of life. Shout out to Anita Hollander, who was my mentor.
Yeah.
Amazing actress with one leg and singer. So thank you for mentioning the mentorship and all of your work with that. Did you want to add? Yeah.
Having the right mentor, but also having that right perspective.
Yeah.
I think disability taught me more about perspective than I ever knew. So much of it is about understanding and focusing on what you can do rather than
Mhm.
dwelling on what you cannot. If every day you focused on what you can't do, it becomes just such an uphill battle and frustration and discouragement and just if you just kind of turn that lens and focus on all the things you can do within your unique power, you end up finding that you have a superpower because you can conquer those things. You can go after them and you can feel like you can feel that you've really accomplished it. And yes, it might be a little bit different. You might have to ask for help, but like my caregivers, a lot of people think that I'm dependent on my caregivers to be able to do everyday tasks because I can't brush my teeth on my own. I can't do a lot of things. But I think the way that I approach it is through my caregivers. They're an extension of my hand. I become independent through them. And that little twist of that perspective really gives me, a redefined focus and especially a lot of gratitude as well. But it really, I never feel like a burden on the people
Mhm.
around me. I feel like together we're tackling the day. And I get to accomplish all the things that my mind is focused on changing and being bringing good into the world. So it's just I
Yeah.
love every day I get to wake up with purpose because of perspective.
Oh, amazing. I love the way you said that. Perspective is key. And thank you so much for those words, because so often we're seen as burdens, and that's not what we are.
Not, not in any shape or form. And
Yeah.
it's
Um, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about more accessibility and accessibility. So stay tuned.